Welcome back to my channel. My name is Diana, and today we're going to continue through the 12 houses of astrology, and in this video we're going to discuss the second house, talk about what the second house means, what it means to have no planets in the second house, a lot of planets, the meaning of each planet, and go from there. So what is the second house? The second house is all about what we treasure. It's about what we value, how we value ourselves, how we can get money, if we're going to be able to use what we love to do to make money. You know, as a little baby, after we came into this world, we moved along to realizing that in order to survive in this world, right, we need food and a roof over our head, a blanket when we were cold. If our parents gave us all of these necessary goods, the well-developed second house, which with not that much negative aspects. But if in this world, once we were born as little babies, if we felt like we were neglected, or if we felt like we were ignored by our parents, or we didn't have parents, childhood, then it's likely that our self-worth is kind of messed up somewhere in our Let's start off with having no planets in the second house. A lot of people don't have any planets in the second house, and that's completely normal. If you have no planets in the second house, look at the sign that cusps the second house. So in my chart, for example, I have Taurus that cusps my second house, and the ruler of Taurus, the planetary ruler, is Venus. So in my chart, I would try to find where Venus falls, and that will tell me a little bit more about my self-worth, how I can potentially make money, all of that good stuff. And in my chart, my Venus is in Sagittarius, so I mean, I can probably make money through higher learning, and Venus, you know, will enhance me with like an intelligent brain if I do go out and, you know, get my master's degree. So it's also in the 8th house, so I can like make money through working at a bank, something like that. So look to see where your chart ruler, I'm sorry, not your chart, the ruler of the second house, where it falls, and it will give you a little bit more about your money making skills, your self-worth, your self-esteem, all of that. So let's start off with talking about what it means to have your sun in the second house. So the sun in the second house, your sun is your ego, right? And if it's in the second house, you're going to have a strong Taurus-y vibe to you. You can be a little bit stubborn. You can just carry all of these Taurus qualities to you. You can be like really, really attracted to money. Like, your ego will basically come from material things. So what you own physically and what you surround yourself with can really become your identity. Like your self-worth. You feel like you need to you feel like you kind of lack charisma quality. So when you have the moon in the second house, the moon in the second house can signify a few things. It can signify that you attach onto things, and you're like a hoarder, because everything that you own, you have emotional attachments to, so it's kind of hard to let go. It can also signify that you're like a little worrywart when it comes to spending money. And it can also signify that whenever you're in a bind, your mom, especially for a guy, was the one that would always get you out of the bind. Self-worth. The moon in the second house can also mean that you feel like you're judged a lot by being emotional, so you try to strain from showing emotions or getting too crazy because of the fear of being criticized for that. So no, let's talk about Venus in the second house. Venus in the second house is such a good placement. Like, I don't care how Venus is, it's where it naturally wants to be, in the second house. So Venus in the second house means that you have refined tastes for everything around you. You have quality things, and you've always had quality things surrounding you. It can make you like super artistic, and it can also bless you with easily being able to make money through what you actually love. A lot of us aren't able to work in our passion because realistically it doesn't pay enough, but with you, you'd really be able to use your talents to make money with Venus in the second house, unless it's like restricted by a square through Saturn or something. In a bad way, it can definitely make you really, really materialistic, and it can make you a little bit of a high maintenance girl, or just a high maintenance person. But with Venus in the second house, your self-worth can really be affected by you not feeling beautiful enough, even though you truly are. So you try to overcompensate for not feeling like that by surrounding yourself with beautiful things. Now, Mercury in the second house is really good because that means that you'll be able to always have multiple ways of making money going around. Mercury is multiplicity, so you can make money through different sources all the time. You have you're really smart with money, whether it's with budgeting or accounting. It can also mean that you value intelligence. You try to overdo it with intelligence when Mercury is in the second house, because you can really become insecure if people don't find you intelligent. So you really invest money and time into learning about different things and feeling smart. Really feeling smart is something that you... So let's talk about Mars. Mars in the second house can mean that you are a hard worker when it comes to making money. You will work your butt off, maybe in a physical way, because Mars is more physical, to put bread on the table. It can mean that when it comes to anything that's about money, you are super, super, super competitive on getting the most and the biggest prize. With Mars in the second house, it can mean that you also would rather be more of an independent worker because you don't need people on top of you bossing you around. So for this placement, I would definitely consider like self-employment at some point, because Mars is the military general. Mars in the second house means that you value drive and you value motivation, and you feel like you lack that, so you overcompensate, and it can make people see you as like kind of like bossy and mean, but it's because you feel like you don't have it. With your self-worth, again, you can feel like you hate feeling weak, and as a result you exert this power that may not really go well with other personalities. So let's talk about Jupiter in the second house. Jupiter in the second house, I mean, it's a really, really good placement, but with really, really good placements in astrology, in any like wherever they are, it can just make a person lazy. So when Jupiter's in the second house, it means that yes, you'll have if you weren't born rich, you probably will have a lot of opportunities to make money easily. But as easy as money comes, as easy it will go, because it can make you overindulge in spending money. It can make you overindulge in eating a lot of great, good, comfort food and comfort things. And it can make you go broke too if you don't know how to control that. Jupiter in the second house can make you think that, well, whenever you travel, you will go on luxurious trips, and you'll have the opportunity to do that, to go on luxurious trips, and you'll have the opportunity to pay a lot for great schooling. Jupiter is all about like, expanding like your mind and intelligence and all of that, and it can make you feel like if you don't, like, like you have to go out and experience all of these things, because feeling unexperienced is where you would really struggle with your self-esteem. Feeling like you don't have enough wisdom is where you would really struggle with your self-esteem. Now let's talk about Saturn in the second house. Saturn in the second house, total opposite of Jupiter, right? So Saturn in the second house can definitely restrict you with having extra money to spend on things that you want, not things that you need. So it can really give you that lesson of realizing this is what I actually need, not what I want. It can definitely restrict you with just the way that you make money will just make you feel unhappy. It won't necessarily mean that you're gonna like be broke and poor, but the way that you make money may not be what you're really happy with. It can restrict you with using your dreams to make money. So with Saturn, because Saturn is, you know, all about the realistic traditional approach, so it would mean that you really have to work hard and go through your life in a traditional way. The traditional way of obtaining a job that gives you good money is going through the regular procedure, going to school, working hard on that, and finding a job and working hard to find a job that realistically will pay you what you need to like maintain your family or whatever. They hate feeling like they're all over the place. So to compensate for what they feel, they usually are really like authoritative. Uranus in the second house will mean that you may be like super detached from money, like you don't really understand why people value that so much, because with Uranus, they're rebels. They really don't like to feel like they're that energy doesn't like restriction or feel like they only have one option. They usually, if they do, they'll do the opposite of. So make money through like something weird. Maybe they'll have like a weird talent that they'll use to make money. Like maybe you'll invent something really cool and that will work out for you. Like, and people wouldn't think that your person or you as a person would be capable of that, but boom, Uranus will just surprise you with things. Now with Uranus in the second house, it could mean that you also may act like you don't give a fuck about, like, you know, your self-esteem, or that you're just full of confidence, but that's because they are really uncomfortable when they feel like they're too conforming to situations, so they want to like stir things up. Neptune in the second house, is kind of it's kind of like a position that I feel like people can struggle with a lot, because you yourself too much because you truly value people and the greater good and spirituality. It could mean that you value, like, you know, your religion, your anything like that, and also you'll give away your money to charities or church or things like that, in music and poetry and things like that, and you want that to be the way that you make money, but it usually doesn't work out with Neptune there. But it truly means that you value what you create. So I feel like it really affects them if people think that they're not understanding and not loving people. It can really hurt their feelings. So in that case, most of the time they try to like overdo it with being too self-sacrificing and too selfless, because being called mean will really hurt them. Now with Pluto, means that money and things like that give you power, and you like to feel powerful. If you don't feel powerful, that will make you feel insecure. It can also mean that you make money through weird taboo things. It can mean that maybe you do, I don't know, some illegal taboo activity that has you keep the way that you make your money really private. If you feel like you're weak and powerless, you're gonna overdo it with Pluto in the second house by using money to command things of people. Alrighty, so when you have like a stellium of planets in the second house, their self-worth values, or it will mean that their self-worth is affected by that. Monetary wise, you know, having a lot of planets in the second house can be good, but it can really affect the person's actual self-worth psychologically. And they really need to learn that they are not what they, people with a lot of planets in the second house need to learn that they're not what they have around them. They really need to dig deep inside on a soul level and figure out who they are deep down in their soul, and learn that they can be loved and they can be valued by other things in their personality, like the fact that some of them can really be good at making people laugh, or some of them can be really selfless people. That's what really matters with a lot of planets in the second house. Learning who you are on a deep level, and loving yourself and loving other people for who they are inside, not what they have on the outside. So that was my description for the second house. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, guys.